Okay, here we are again, and we're going to do the second video on our Wonderware. And here we're just going to add the start stop. If you remember, we have HMI start, HMI stop. So all we're going to do in this video is put these two on. We're going to monitor the start process, make sure we're running. And we're going to actually tie through the main driver sheet the PLC to the Wonderware. So let's go here. We want to be in graphics. And before we had a button and we put that in there, but what we really want for the start and stop is the push button function. So we're going to go in here and we'll put a button on there. It comes out nice and green, so that's going to be our start. And here, now, right now the HMI, the Wonderware, has no tags at all. So we're just going to give it tag name, and we'll call it HMI start. Now the thing you need to know is if it has to be all one word or an underscore. Now I called it HMI start, which the PLC calls it HMI start. The names do not have to be identical, but the tag will have to match up. So I put that tag name in, I'll hit return, and it says it doesn't exist and we don't have anything in. So for every item we put on here, we're going to have to create a tag for the Wonderware. So yes, and these tags, most of them for what we're doing, at least at the start, are going to be bools. So we'll say OK, and we're fine with that. Now we have to go in to configure this. So this is going to be our start, and I'll just say this is pressed. So, and instead of making it red, I'll make it like an off gray so we know that it was actually hit. Now here you might want to up the font a little bit. And we'll make them both, I think about 14 will fit, and OK. And that's good. So now we have that. Now, when we have this and it's highlighted, and you can see it's got the little grab handles on there, but if it's identified like that, you can just hold down the control key and copy it. So now I'm going to make this my stop. So we're going to call it HMI stop. Now again, hit return. It's not created. We'll make it a bool. And from there, we'll go into config. I'm going to make this my stop, so it's going to be red and stop. And that's okay. And that's it. Now, we also have a reset, and I guess we can add that in here. So I'll just copy that, move it over, make this one, and let's make sure that I do have an HMI reset. Okay, so it's C4. So here, I'm going to make it my HMI reset. And we'll have to create that. And, when I do this tag, because, start green, stop red, I'm going to make this kind of a neutral color, and that'll be my reset. And again, that's done. So I've got my basic push button, start, stop, reset. The other thing I have in here is my start process. So we want to put this guy in here. And now, if I go into graphics, before we had push button, I want to go into symbols. And they have, right now we have no project symbols. We've got nothing in the project. And you can see because there's no pull down. But here, for system symbols, we have all these different icons. And we'll be looking at some of them. But let's take a quick look at motors. So you can use any of these to have a motor. And when it's active, it'll be green. When it's inactive, it'll either be grayed out or red. But what we want right now is we're going in pilot lights. And I need a green light just to say when my start process is on. So I'm going to pick this guy. And I'm going to put him here. Now it comes in really, gigantic. And you kind of highlight them so you see the handles. And right-click again and set property. First thing to do is unclick the link size. and then we can adjust the size, but we want to change this name. Let's see. Well, okay. Tags for the project. It'll be Boolean. We're going to call this start process. And, you know, a lot of people use system run. I always use start process. So, got to create that name. That'll be a bool. Bool. Okay, and that's done. Now what I have to do is just shrink it down. So that's probably good. So put that on there. So now when I start my system, this light, well, this didn't take. I want that to be start process. Okay, so when I hit start, this will turn on. Now there's several ways to affect this. This was with the system symbol for the pilot light. But if I wanted to, I can just put an ellipse. So I highlight that and I'm going to make a circle. And this is what you'd use if you had like an LED. Now, right now, all it is a circle. But if I go over here to animations and I hit color, now we can give it color. So now if I link it to an expression, and I can pull it down in the pull-down menus. I'm going to link it to start process. Now, when it's 0, I'm going to want it to be like a grayish color. And when it's 1, I want it green. And that's all I have to do. So now when we start, this is going on and this is going on. Now, another thing we can do that I like is, let's see, we have this smart message. And we can just pull it, and I'm going to kind of put it over in the corner for right now. And you can make it whatever size you want. So now when I click on it, it's going to say, well, right now, well, my tag. So I'm going to make this start process again. Here it's saying it's an integer. So if I look at my messages, I can have a different message for every state of that. So if I had a complicated process that had a number of steps, and in fact we could, if we wanted to with the Wonka machine, we could say step number 1 is, you know, heading back towards position 0 or the cup dispenser. You know, step 2 might be at cup dispenser. Step 3 could be cup dispense. Step 4 could be moving towards the hopper fill. So you can use a lot of that. Now we don't want anything that elaborate because we just got a Boolean. And the messages we're going to put up, or I'm going to put up here, is for 0 I'm going to say our system is off. And for 1 I'm going to say our system is on. And here for the text, I'm going to make the text red off and green on. And that's not really the green that I wanted. I want the bright green. Okay. Now the background, I'm going to make them both black. And you need to be careful because right here, this is background right behind the text. But we also want the background in the rest of the rectangle to be filled in black. So I'm going to make those both black, and we're okay with that. Now, that's really small. I want to up the font. So if it's at about 10, let's take a look at about 18. So that's, well, let's even try 20. Okay, so that's pretty good. So now what we have, when we run the system and we turn it on, we hit start, this is going to turn on as a pilot light. This is going to turn on as an ellipse, but it also has color. And then this is going to go from saying system off to system on. And that's all we're going to do for this first one. So now I've got 3 buttons that I have to marry between the Wonderware and the PLC. So I go in here, And now I can click in the tag names. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to put start, stop, reset, and my start process. Now, I'm going to move that over. Now the I/O address. Before we talked about these C1s for the coils are going to have a 0x prefix. Now, if we look at the address picker, we can go in there and we can display the Modbus addresses. So let's move up to the top here. Start is 16385. And we go in here, and this is going to be 0x16385. And I'm just going to kind of copy these down here for these other ones. So the stop is 86. Now let's take a look here again at where reset is. Okay, reset. Okay, start process is 87 and reset is 88. So start process is the 87 and reset will be 88. Now, for our station, the station is simply the IP address of our PLC. And our PLC, what we work with in default for the Click PLC is 192.168.0.10. Now, you have to put the port number for Modbus, which is 502. So it's the IP address and colon 502. And we're going to copy that. We're going to paste it all the way down there. And now we should be able to interface with the Click PLC. So I'm going to X out and it'll say, do you want to save? Yes. So now when I go into my run, we'll see what the HMI looks like right now. And now everything's off. And let me just exit out and take a look at our PLC. So right now our PLC is off and nothing is started. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into run, hit start. These should all come on, and then we'll go back into the PLC and make sure that the start process is on here. Now, one thing to be aware, the Wonderware is software. It takes a while to make the communication between hardware and software. So we're in this run. When you click it, you should click and hold so you're sure that the command sticks and actually gets transferred into the PLC. So right now, everybody's off, and we'll hit start, and we're on. Now, okay, so this one's still blinking, but let's exit. We can fix that easy enough. Let's go into our click, and you can see the start process is on, and right now our timers are timing for the time being. So let's just minimize that, and let's click this one. So if we look at our messages, this one has this text blink checked, and we don't want that. So we're okay. We're okay. If we go into run, let's take a look. So now it's not blinking. We hit stop, and might have to hold it. Okay, so there's one where you did have to make sure you hold it for a second or so. So we hit start, turns on, stop, turns off. So, you know, that's really how you start going with this stuff. It's simple. You know, you can visualize it several different ways. You know, a lot of times you don't want big messages. You can get away with just an LED. You know, if you had text that said system on here and just something that was either gray or green, you know, depending on what you need, that might work better than a big message here or a pilot light here. but these are all, you know, what you want to put on your system. But it's easy to use, and what we're going to do, and I guess that'll be the end for this one. Next time out, what we'll try to do is we'll start putting on some more features. So if we look at our Click PLC program, we can maybe show when some of these timers are timing and what the and we might have to change this a little bit to show exactly what's happening. Maybe slow down this. Instead of counting milliseconds, we might count seconds and then just transfer back and forth between the two, and put LEDs on the Wonderware front screen so you can actually see what's happening. And that's the idea for the HMI, is you want to visualize what's going on inside the PLC. So that's it for video number 2 on the HMI. Thanks for watching.